Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. It is May 28th, Thursday, 2009. I am not Alex Jones. I am Jason Burmis sitting in. Alex will be up at the top of the next hour. We've got Lou Rockwell coming up at the top of the third hour. We're going to be taking your calls in the first and fourth hours. And really upsetting video, yet again, showing the police in a bad light. You know, a lot is being discussed. Oh, you're so negative towards the police. Oh, you're so negative towards the military. Oh, you're so negative towards City Year. And how are we supposed to not be when videos like this one are surfacing? Now, I'm going to talk about it before we actually play the audio, and then in the top of the third hour, maybe I'll have to be the top of the fourth because we have Lou Rockwell coming up. We're going to play the actual video of this, but let me break it down. And right now, there are top stories over at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com as we speak. The tagline by Kurt Nemo is, "Insane thug cops attack emergency paramedic." Yeah, that's right. Folks, you can't even be an ambulance driver trying to take somebody to the hospital without getting beaten by the police. Let me repeat that. You can't be an EMT worker in an ambulance with somebody in the back needing to go to a hospital, an emergency. See, that's why they're emergency vehicles. That's why they have the big lights on the top and the sirens so they can get through traffic, you know, bring people to the hospital so that they can live, that sort of thing. No, you can't do that anymore in this country without being harassed by police officers, then arrested by police officers, then beaten by police officers. And again, thank God for the cell phone camera. You know, I'm one of those guys that's really down on the iPhone sometimes, but it can be used to empower and enslave. I'm not saying this guy was using an iPhone. I'm saying he used his camera phone. He hit the video. It's about 3 minutes of video. He's just in shock because he's not even one of the EMTs. It's his mom in the back. It's Ma Dukes. And he can't believe it. His mom's screaming in the background, "What's going on? Oh." So the cop then goes over to the driver, who is a white gentleman. By the way, all the cops are white. I don't want to make this a racial issue, but, you know, when people see this, I mean, I just don't understand where it goes from. They're talking to the driver. There doesn't seem to be a problem there. Then they walk over to the gentleman in the back. He happens to be a black guy. And within 30 seconds, they're arresting him. And then when he's like, "What are you arresting me for?" they got their hands around his neck. The cops are out of control. Insane thug cops attack emergency paramedic. All across the country, cops are attacking people for not responding quick enough to barked commands or for not groveling in deference to their thuggish authority. Actually, let's talk about somebody who groveled. If you go over to the Infowarrior.com, it's a little more edible because it's just my little blog. You scroll down. We had a guy who admittedly was on the run from the police. He exited his vehicle. As far as I know, he was not a violent criminal, at least in the chase. Even if he was, when he was cornered, he immediately went to the ground. He put his hands to his side, just like they instructed. And what does he get? He gets Bootsy McStigger right to the jawline as he's down. And then cops high five. This is even more disgusting. This isn't a criminal. This is an EMT worker. An EMT worker. Insane and violent cops have been caught repeatedly on tape and violent assaulting nonviolent citizens, tasering, and even murdering them. That's right, there are snuff films out there because they like to shoot people while they're on the ground begging for their lives in subways. Let's not forget the gentleman who was at a family reunion, a grandfather, holding a family reunion in his backyard. It wasn't even clear why the police were there, and they shot him to death. It's unfortunate that wasn't on video. These people need to lose their jobs. Hands down, they need to lose their jobs. When you see this video, when you hear the audio, when you hear the distress in this person's voice, I want you to try to experience what they're going through. It's the Alex Jones Show. I'm Jason Burmis. Go check out the stories right now over at PrisonPlanet.tv and Infowars.com.
The Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
All right, folks, we are back. Remember, insane thug cops attack emergency paramedic. Top story over at Infowars.com right now. We're going to play the audio, but let me bring up Alex Jones for just a brief preview of what's to come at the top of the next hour. Alex?
Absolutely. I'm going to be on with you for about 40 minutes. Next hour, breaking down the latest developments with the crisis on the Korean Peninsula, getting into the latest economic developments, and, of course, taking some phone calls. But this morning I got up and was doing research for the show today, and I appreciate you sitting in and taking over the pilot seat, Jason. I know that's a lot, doing 3 hours, 9 to midnight, and then coming in for 4 hours during the day here from 11 to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. But I saw at the Alex Jones channel, the resurrected Alex Jones channel on YouTube, the top video that's now up on Infowars.com, and I watched it about 5 times, and I called you early this morning when you were at the bank, and I appreciate you getting in early and getting everybody to get it up on the site. But I watched it over and over and over again, at least 5, 6 times, pausing it to get exactly what happened, and I want to contact the people. I want Rob Do, the producer, and others.
He's on it already, actually.
Good, he's already on it. To contact that YouTube channel. I know it's also on the local news there in Oklahoma, so call that local news channel. They're usually very helpful. I want to get a hold of this man whose mother had a heart attack and was going to the hospital. And so that local news was saying, but I've watched the video over and over again, and all this is they pull the ambulance over, and I know all over the country they've got new rules where if it isn't life-threatening, the ambulance doesn't turn its lights on, it doesn't speed. I know that because when I cut my finger off, I wanted to just drive to the to the hospital, and my buddy said, no, you got to call an ambulance, because we were out on a boat when that happened, so it took us 20 minutes to get back to dock a few years ago. When I got there, I was getting in my car saying, forget it, the ambulance isn't here yet, and the ambulance pulled in, and they said, no, you called us, come with us, and they strapped me in a chair sitting upright through those windy Lake Travis roads. Took them 45 minutes to get to the downtown hospital. Literally driving like 35 miles an hour on roads you're supposed to drive 55, 60 on. And I never get car sick, but I actually got car sick, I guess because my finger was cut off, so it made me nauseated. And they said, yeah, we can't speed unless it's life-threatening, and your finger dangling by a piece of skin isn't life-threatening, so we're not going to drive even the speed limit. So I'm guessing, watching this and slowing it down and listening to the cops, this lady is going to the hospital. She's in serious condition. They don't like the fact that the ambulance is speeding. And so the cops rush up, get in the face of the white paramedic, who's the head paramedic, and because that's the driver, and they start yelling at him, and you can tell he's getting an argument with them, but he goes ahead and submits, and the cops are all bowed up, wanting to beat the hell out of somebody. And they've got these shaved heads, look like they're roided up, just all like they were charging up San Juan Hill or Iwo Jima. I mean, they were fighting Al-Qaeda. They were going into a machine gun nest, killer instinct on. That's why you don't militarize the police. The military goes and kills people and breaks things. They don't. I mean, think of the archetypal image of Matt Dillon as the sheriff, or John Wayne playing the part of sheriffs. And I've read a lot about real history. That's what a good sheriff actually did do, is they were in control. They didn't crack heads unless they had to. That's what a real man is like. Not these cops that want to split your head open. And I don't want to bash cops here. I know a lot of them are listeners. I know a lot of military are good. The issue is they have gotten on a power trip and are literally under mind control, under a spirit of wickedness and aggression. So you've got and you're going to play the video coming up next hour for folks on Prison Planet TV when you go live. You're going to play the audio as soon as I leave. I'm going to tell folks about Lou Rockwell and other people that are coming up. But the important issue here is when you watch this video and watch it and pause it and analyze it, because then it's even worse than what it first comes off as. People spin it and say, oh, give the cops time to tell their side of the story. We know what happened. It's video from a camera phone, which are becoming higher and higher quality, big problems for the establishment. And The cops pull over the ambulance. The cop stays in his car till more cops show up. The man gets out who'd been following the ambulance, and he says, they pulled my mother over in this ambulance. The police come over. They get in the face of the EMT. The EMT, the driver says, what is the deal here? Because I've turned the audio, jacked it all the way up and listened. He says, what's going on? This lady's in bad condition. And the cop bows up, because they can never be wrong. He bows up in an attack formation, with his fists together, going, you got it, buddy, you understand, like a drill sergeant. And the guy goes ahead and puts his hand down. By the way, the EMT looks like a lot more of a man than this cop. He kind of puts his head down in submission and just can't believe the evil he's witnessing. So the black EMT, he starts getting out to go back and help the lady. He's going and getting his supplies as he tries to save her life right there on the spot. And the cop runs up, the other cop